that are of lower quality, but easier to, edit or scan through, maybe if you're a scientist. And we use the high-res files to make our highlight videos and save in an archive.
Sure. So just like with all of the data that's been collected over the course of this expedition, I believe all of it is available in some form or another to other scientists around the world. So, again, we've mentioned this in the past, and it still stands true at this very moment that even if we don't find the Samoan clipper, we not only have marked off a big area that we know it's not located, but we've also seen a part of the planet, right, that no human has ever seen before, 3,000 meters below the surface of the ocean. We've also not only got video of that and recorded it, but we do have these side scan sonar surveys, so we're contributing to this greater understanding of what it looks like where we are, and what this part of the world looks like.
Yeah, when we started this project, the sum total of what we knew about this stretch of ocean was that in 1938 they said they thought it was 1,000 fathoms deep, and that's it. And since that time, Okeanos Explorer has done the initial bathymetry, and now we've got these highly detailed sonar surveys of this stretch of ocean. So we've definitely advanced our knowledge quite a bit, and given a glimpse of this this part of the ocean in relation to the island of Tutuila in a way that no one has had the opportunity to do before.
That's actually incredible. I didn't realize that that was sort of the only thing, or the only thing that we knew of in this area at the time.
Yeah, the form that they had you fill out, when you submitted the white paper, asked for describe the target area, and that was all I could write. Was
Wow.
1,000 fathoms deep.
Wow.
Period.
And that was before
Next
Okeanos
question.
had come out
Yes.
here? Okay.
Yeah, so that was, that was submitted in December of, presented in December of 2014, and Okeanos made its survey in April of 2017. Dr. Delgado was able to request, that when he knew they were going to be out here, they were going to be transiting basically right past the spot that we needed surveyed. So it was a very slight, detour in their normal, operating day, in their normal navigation to just come and make a few passes to get us, I think, about a 10 square mile area. And that's what we've been using as the basis for plotting our search grids and navigating and helping the Argus pilots anticipate the coming terrain. That coupled with their forward-looking sonar. So it's been a great help to this project. The fact that NOAA was able to perform that service, and now we're just adding to it.
And of our original survey area, how did we come to decide that that was the place to explore? Was that a question just came in, what sort of went into determining that that was the place of all of the places around the island?
Well, it was the Bureau of Air Commerce report from 1938, from April 1st, 1938. They delivered their final report on the accident that claimed a Samoan clipper, and on page 1, there's a it says that the loss of this aircraft in the vicinity of, and it gives the a position calculated in some respects to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So it was a very specific point last seen that was provided in that report. And so when Okeanos was asked to survey the area, we just basically handed them that position and said, give us a 10 square mile box around this point, and that's what they did. And then we refined it even closer you know, for this search, but mainly, you know, at least concentrating again, just centering on that position that was provided, you know, in the initial accident investigation.
And obviously, we all are still hoping that the Samoan Clipper decides to make an appearance here in the next 4 or 5 hours. But what are some of the highlights for you, Russ, on this dive?
Oh wow, you know, yeah, where to start? I mean, just this whole experience has been incredible. I mean, from the day we arrived, and of course just the lead up to it. But I mean, I think when it really started to hit was when we boarded the ship, and then you know, looking out, and I had been to Pongo Pongo, you know, previously in 2016, you know, just to kind of walk the area and get a sense of it and sense of where everything had happened, and then, you know, had been spending, you know, a lot of time and a lot of years kind of dreaming of the opportunity to bring Nautilus to this spot, and then there she was. You know, it was almost by magic, you know, to see it tied up at the dock with those familiar hills surrounding it, but you know, it wasn't magic at all that made it happen. It was, you know, a lot of hard work and a lot of planning, you know, by a great, you know, group of people and organizations that you know, looked ahead and looked for opportunities and for exploration, and brought us this opportunity. So so yeah, and then, you know, getting underway and feeling the swell, you know, lift the ship as we made the turn and headed out to sea, and retracing the route of the Avocet, the Navy search ship that had first gone out looking for Samoan Clipper, and seeing all the familiar points, you know, that you'd read about in the logs, and finally, you know, seeing Tapu Tapu Point from the sea and making that turn just like they did, and then just day after day to walk out on deck and just see it there, see it floating, you know, right next to us, and knowing that where we were standing, that Samoan Clipper is here. It's very close. It is, you know, it has to be, and you know, it's calling to us. So and just sitting in the control room and watching the video screen, you know, roll by, and knowing that these, you know, really dramatic volcanic landscapes that sometimes appear, that you know, no one's ever seen these before in history, which is a real privilege in itself to be a part of that, and really just you know, watching the crew, you know, go about their day, and how they do it with such, you know, professionalism, and with such, you know, such a wealth of you know, scientific knowledge and you know, technical expertise, but also with you know, just dogged persistence and great good humor. It's, you know, I've hardly ever seen anything like it, you know, and I know not everybody, you know, has been a part of this crew, you know, for more than you know, about 5 or 6 days, but you would never know it from the way that they work together, and you could not have asked you know, for better partners and colleagues and shipmates and friends than this. And it's been so gratifying the way that everyone has taken this project to heart, and I think they all want it. They all want to see it happen, and they want to be a part of you know, finding Samoan Clipper and finding those lost men, and so yeah, that's been a real a bonus, you know, for me, for something that's, you know, been so long coming to have, you know, I mean, we've always had support. We've always had, you know, people that were willing to join in and contribute their passion and their knowledge, and but this group of, you know, 44, 45 people, you know, have really, you know, made it their mission, and you know, they deserve to be here, you know, for the finale to see it succeed, and you know, the crew of Samoan Clipper, they deserve to be found, and we're going to keep trying. But yeah, I'd say those are. Oh, that and the chocolate Skittle cake, I think, is maybe maybe
Oh my goodness.
something I will never forget.
Yes,
So.
I can honestly say I have never had a chocolate Skittle cake, and no cake will be the same. And I second all of that. This was my first cruise with Nautilus, and I agree. You know, I'd been reading about the Samoan Clipper, and I'd had this sort of expectation of what everything was going to be like, and, you know, kind of being like, all right, it's going to be work, and it's going to be tiring, and it is work, and it is tiring, but nobody wakes up dragging their feet to come into the control van. You know, it's every watch is exciting. Everybody's excited to go to their watch and to be a part of it, and to, you know, partake in such an amazing expedition. So it's really been a treat. And yeah, it feels like, just in terms of how well we've all connected in the last less than a week, it feels like we've definitely been in each other's presence for more than a week. That's for sure. Anybody else have some highlights from this cruise besides the chocolate Skittle cake?
We've been seeing oceanic white-tip sharks
That was
around
super cool.
around the ship the whole day.
Yeah, they were here all day
Mm-hmm.
from last night, and then we saw them again at dinner. And the mahi-mahi last night was really cool too. They were so beautiful. We've also had a lot of really epic rainbows, which has been cool to see.
It was a good sunset tonight too.
Yeah, it was a beautiful sunset. I still don't know if I believe that we saw a green tint the other day, but I'm going to hold true for the real one here in the next few weeks. So we are continuing that side scan sonar survey in an area just to the south of that original grid. And this is our last 8 to 12 watch. So it is just approaching 9 o'clock at night. And Argus needs to start ascending at 2 a.m. So we have about 5 hours left here. Russ, if we don't find the Clipper by then, does the case go back to being considered cold, or you know, what becomes of the case?
The search goes on.
The search goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's we're not giving up. So we know it happened. We know where it happened. Yeah, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to continue. So, but you know, we've still got 5 more hours. So
that's true. A lot can happen in 5 hours.
Keep fighting till the bell rings. So.
All right, Miles, this is maybe a question for you. How long is a fathom?
Fathom?
Yes.
1.83 meters.
1.83 meters. What other nautical measurements do we know?
Cable. What's a cable?
Oh yeah, what's a cable?
Or cable length.
Cable is 8 shots.
Okay, what's a shot?
A cable is 720 feet.
Oh, all right.
What's an ARP end can?
27.52 miles. A shot is 15 fathoms.
Are you reciting all of these from memory?
Some of them.
Wow, that's impressive.
My favorite is a barleycorn.
Okay, what's that?
It's the third part of an inch.
Oh, of course it is.
The definition is formally a measure of length equal to the average length of a grain of barley, the third part of an inch.
Could it be the first part of an inch? The first third of an inch?
I don't get what the, yeah, what's the first and second part of an inch?
I
To
would
have
assume the second part of it is a half.
Ah,
I
A
don't
half
know.
inch?
I've never heard.
my
so
favorite
it's not
is
the
a,
last third then.
it's not the last third, no.
That
My
doesn't
favorite's a
make
beard
sense.
second, it's 10 nanometers.
What is it? A beard?
Beard second. How long a beard grows in
1 second?
1 second.
How does one measure that? I mean,
Microscopically.
Is
or
it
over
like a
time
light
and
year?
average. It's like a light year, but it's a small version,
Is that
yeah.
an average, I guess?
Yeah, 10 nanometers is how much an average beard grows per second.
wow.
Is that true, or did you just made that up?
No, look it up.
Huh?
Verify me. You have internet access, don't you?
No.
Oh, well, never mind.
All
Look
right,
it up later.
what was it officially
A
called?
beard second.
Oh, I actually do have. I'm not gonna look that up.
But what's a
Alright.
beer second?
Couldn't tell you. That's personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Depends on how good you are.
If you measure a volume at that point.
All right, here are 10 ridiculously precise units of measurement. Of them is a beard second. The
Yeah.
length that a beard hair grows in a second.
And how big is it?
Defined as 5 nanometers.
5? Oh, I thought it was 10.
Or 10 nanometers or 10 nm. Does that make a difference?
Nanometers
Nanometers.
Why does it say both?
Nautical miles.
per second. It's incredible.
Wow.
Could be a lot of beard.
That's a lot of beard.
So between 5 and 10, depends on who you ask.
Do you know what a barn is?
A place where you store your cattle.
In terms of a measurement?
Ooh, I do not.
A barn?
A barn.
That one's new to me.
It is, okay, 0.0000000000000 10 more zeros, 1 square centimeters.
Square centimeters.
Yeah.
They didn't even bring it back to SI? Come on. What?
It is the approximate size of
Give me
the
a break.
cross-section of 1 uranium nucleus.
What does that have to do with barns?
That is a good question.
Specifically uranium.
Okay, I'll give you, okay, so it was coined by researchers who are working on the Manhattan Project. Talking about the size of a relatively large uranium nucleus compared to other elements, and to the fact that it was the intended target, as in you couldn't hit a barn door.
Wow.
Yeah, super interesting.
Is that where a barn door comes from?
Is that a saying?
Couldn't hit the side of a barn is what I grew up
Yeah,
saying.
I thought it, yeah, the broadside of a barn, I thought.
Broadside
it
of a barn,
was,
another one, yeah.
Well, there
Never
you
heard
go.
the barn door.
Where does the Uncle Bob saying come from?
Commonwealth?
All right, do you know what a Mickey is?
Yep, it's a unit of volume. 375 milliliters.
Oh, well, there's also another form of measurement to that.
All right.
1 Mickey is the smallest measurable movement of a computer mouse. Typically 1/200th of an inch.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is not the same as my
Nope,
measurement.
definitely not the same.
A mouse, Mickey.
Yep, named for a Mickey Mouse. There's some really interesting ones over here. All right, this one is relevant to us.
I don't believe you.
Have you heard of a Millie Helen?
Millie Helen. I feel like I have, but it
Yeah?
might have been from SPL another time.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is. No idea.
Okay, so Helen of Troy was very beautiful, right? And so there was the saying that she had the face that launched 1,000 ships. So 1 Millie Helen
Just one ship.
is, no, it's the precise quantity of beauty required to launch 1 ship.
That's great. That's so much fun.
Or 1/1000th the number of ships Helen is said to have launched.
Hmm.
Yep. There you go.
I'm Millie Helen.
How
That's wonderful.
many millihelens does it take to launch Nautilus?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Depends on the pilot, I guess.
It's relative.
That has to be the first time in the history of the universe that that question has been asked.
For those of you wondering what's up next, we are heading back to port tomorrow, or we will be there for a night. And then we are doing a quick crew swap in some ways, and then heading to the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa. So we'll be getting a little bit of a deeper dive there in terms of biological and geological features, looking for marine life. And you can find more details about that at nautiluslive.org. So you can go to the expedition page. You can also click through previous expeditions. There's a lot of information on the Samoan Clipper, as well as photos and links to outside sources, a lot of which we have mentioned and referred to over the last few days. And then you can also learn a little bit more about what we're doing over the course of the next 2 weeks or so. What have we most enjoyed about American Samoa? So I was only in Pongo Pongo for a few hours, I guess, before we came on ship and then shoved off the next morning. I did, and a lot of us in the control van right here did stay a night in Samoa. And I would say the thing that I most enjoyed was the fact that the Pacific Games were going on when we were there. So that was super, super exciting to see all different athletes from around this part of the world coming together. And the whole island, there was this air of excitement. Everybody was really, you know, over the moon to be hosting this event. And there were beautiful decorations all over the island. So people had been posting, you know, posters of their favorite teams. There were decorative flags. I think it was pretty exciting. And I think it was such a treat that we flew into Samoa on the same day or during the same time frame that was happening. And I think today is the 20th, tomorrow's the 20th, which means that it's the last day of the games going on over there, which is just not too far from us.
Well, it's the 20th there today.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because they're on the other side of the date line.
That's right. That's right. So it's only a 30-minute flight from Pongo Pongo, or American Samoa, but they are a day ahead of us. That's interesting. Anyone else?
Well, I can tell you, I did have the opportunity just about 3 years ago to spend some time here, to spend about 3 days in American Samoa, in and around Pongo Pongo, and the thing that really struck me, and I don't know, I wasn't prepared for it, was just the natural beauty. It is absolutely stunning, and I spent some time. I had rented a car, and I spent some time. I drove out to the west end of the island, you know, intending to try and get a look at the area where Samoan Clipper had been lost. But it took me hours and hours to do it because I kept pulling over to the side of the road. Like it seemed like maybe even every few hundred yards to take more pictures, because I would come across just this stunning scene and have to capture it. And then I could continue on, and wait, I had to stop again. And I did some hiking too. There was an incredible heritage trail that was, just in walking distance of my hotel. I was staying at Sadie's by the Sea, and there was this heritage trail that went up to a gun emplacement that had been erected in World War II that's still maintained, and you could see see that the gun was still in position, and you could overlook the harbor, and it was just so evocative and so atmospheric. And then the next day, hiked to the top of Mount Alava to get an overview of the harbor. But you hike this nature trail through a rainforest. And it was just so you could hear all the wildlife, and for me anyway, growing up in the Northeast, hearing these very exotic sounds, and things that I'm sure people who live here are, that's their life, and so that's what's normal to them. But to me it was different and exotic and beautiful, and all the profusions of different like tropical flowers that were growing along the trail, and then having this after 2 hours or so, getting on top of the summit and being able to look down on that dramatic harbor with the Rainmaker and all the hills surrounding it and the blue sea beyond, and then the final day, I drove out to the other end of the island, to the eastern end and around to the north, and where so much of it is given over to national park, and it just this just wild and dramatic and beautiful landscape, and I think it's something that people living in the continental United States should know more about, should know what a gem there is, out here in the only, territory, U.S. territory in the southern hemisphere, but something that you can reach, and where, the currency is U.S. dollars, and and people speak English, and they're warm and they're friendly, and the food is so good. I had oca, like fresh oca.
Ooh.
It was delicious, and went to I think it was a Tiza's, which was this restaurant and bar, like built like right on the water as you go. I think as you drive up east of town, and the bartender there like whipped up this like fresh caught mahi and some banana chips, and you sat on the deck just over the water, and Tiza herself was there to sing traditional songs, and it was just fantastic, just a great time, and I loved every second of it. And I'm just sorry I'm not going to have the time to really spend here and enjoy it. We've had a job to do out here, and which of course enjoyed immensely too. But yeah, we're very glad to have had the opportunity. I mean, I'll always be grateful to this project for that, if nothing else, to introduce me to American Samoa, and to the beauty of the land and the people here. So.
And in the meantime, I'm sure we could take the burden on for you in exploring.
I'm counting on it. You guys, you better, because you'll never regret it. It'll stay with you the rest of your life.
That's awesome. And those things that you just described, are they accomplishable in a day's time, or do you need a little bit more?
Well, certainly like the hiking. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because I think that Heritage Trail is not very far from the dock. Where Nautilus is tied up. I think even some of the crew, were showing pictures of having visited that same spot, that World War II gun emplacement that you just you walk up, and it's
Paul
a pretty
was actually
short.
talking about it.
Yeah,
That's
it's a pretty
right.
short trail, but through again like kind of through the rainforest, and you would need transportation to get to the trailhead for the hike to Mount Alava, but it's pretty simple. There's like the main road that goes over from Pongo Pongo to Fangasa, and there's a turnoff on the right side, and it's really clearly marked, and it's a wide like jeep trail, so it's really easy to follow, and it's just the grade is not particularly challenging. I think anyone with a reasonable degree of fitness is going to manage it in probably a couple hours, 2.5 hours, and just have good shoes, and bring water, and you'll be rewarded with just a gorgeous view from the top.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also really excited to check out the visitor center of the National Marine Sanctuary.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is impressive.
Cool. Okay, that's good to hear because, that's our next project. So it'll be great to sort of acquaint ourselves with that and see what that's all about, and then, meet some of the crew on board and hop on to the next leg.
The national park has their own visitor center as well.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so you got 2 to check out.
Awesome. Hey, Sam, welcome.
Hello, H12. Thanks for having me.
Yes, anytime. We just had a question come in that I think you might be a good person to answer. How does the Nautilus decide its missions? How are goals for exploration decided, and selecting crew for certain missions, and making sure that the various disciplines are represented, as well as, finding outside consultation when needed?
Ooh, that is a very good question. And the short answer is it looks like spreadsheet Jenga and getting all the pieces lined up. The longer answer is that for the last few years, Nautilus has been working through priorities for ocean exploration that were set during a workshop in 2014 that was co-hosted by Ocean Exploration Trust and NOAA's Office of Ocean Exploration and Research. So that workshop was held and invited researchers from across the Pacific Ocean sort of region to submit papers, white papers, and then from that workshop, priority areas for exploration were identified. And since 2015, we've been working through those priority areas in the Pacific Ocean. So every year you'll see Nautilus working with different organizations. Many are the National Marine Sanctuary System. So we've actually worked with all of the West Coast National Marine Sanctuaries in the U.S., and we're about to add another one next week with the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa out here. So that's kind of the big picture of how we do our basic exploration cruises, where we're going to areas that often have not been documented before, whether that's starting from the ground up and literally in creating new seafloor maps, or using seafloor maps from previous expeditions on other ships, and then doing the first ROV, the first visual surveys of those areas. So that's the basic exploration model, and then we also get to do some pretty interesting applied exploration cruises like we're on right now, where we work with different partners towards a specific goal that they come on with. So the basic exploration cruises tend to represent the larger scientific community, and we're collecting data for potentially dozens or of researchers or institutions across the U.S. and then, or the world in some cases. And with the applied exploration, there's usually a team that comes on with a specific set of goals and specific set of data that they like to collect. So in this case, of course, we are looking for a very specific target. And as Russ has mentioned a couple of times, it was the fates kind of aligned with the dates of the Nautilus being out here in the Central Pacific, and Russ and the Air and Sea Heritage Foundation sort of working towards doing this expedition over the last 5 years. So that was the first part of the question. The second part was, how do we line up all the people and specific dates and things? So the general priority areas are targeted, and then we kind of break it down into specific goals for each expedition season. So this expedition season is over 6 months, and we've got a dozen expeditions running. And so within that, lead scientists are selected, or often they're lead scientists who have submitted white papers, in that workshop in 2014, or they may be other representatives of the community that have a lot of experience leading research cruises, but aren't necessarily looking to collect data on their own. And then as far as the rest of the kind of staffing goes, we have our two at-sea education programs that we offer. So the Science and Engineering Internship Program, bringing out undergraduate, graduate community college and recent graduate students out for seafloor mapping, navigation, ROV engineering, video engineering, and ocean science internships. And then the Science Communication Fellowship, bringing out informal and formal educators to help us tell stories of ocean exploration. So those programs are by application. Those applications open in the fall, and you can find out more about both those programs on the Education tab of the Nautilus Live website. But once we open those applications, they close in the spring, and then the Jenga starts. So while the education team is doing the Jenga for the education at sea participants, the science team is doing the Jenga of getting data loggers and science managers and ROV pilots and navigators and video engineers also scheduled at that time. So we have a pretty large group of contractors who come out often year after year to help fill some of those seats. And then, like I said, we bring out interns and educators who are coming out for the very first time at sea often. So it's a lot of Jenga.
A lot of Jenga.
Yep.
I think it's also worth noting that, you know, with these programs, especially the Science Communication Fellowship, which I am a part of for this expedition, and the next one is, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a scientist to be a part of it. So I'm a journalist that in my day-to-day regular old job. We have a lot of teachers. We do have scientists, but we also have artists, you know, people from all different backgrounds and disciplines. So if you're interested in at-sea exploration and you want to get a little bit deeper, pun intended, into the research, I encourage you to just try it out. That's kind of how I came across it. I was interested in Nautilus and actually reached out to Sam for a press release on a story that I was writing, and you know, found my way to nautiluslive.org, found the fellowship, and then went from there. So that was over a year ago, and here we are. So if you're interested, if you're excited about what we're doing, definitely check it out, become a part of it. You can also, as Sam mentioned, be a part of the internship program, which Alyssa is. She's our handy-dandy Argus record-setting pilot. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely encourage you to apply. And like you said, like you definitely don't have to have the standard application. If you're interested, definitely feel free to apply.
So one of the things that, you know, people ask, like, you know, looking at the profiles of team members on board, sometimes it's like, wow, everyone has such a different path to get here and a different background and different experience levels. And we often get the question, like, what's the common thread? And the common thread is that everyone out here is driven in some way by curiosity and excitement for learning new things, whether it's learning new skills or technical experience, or it's just, you know, being able to sit in the control van and hear these amazing stories from all the researchers that come on board. And that's the thing we really look for in, you know, bringing people out to sea or bringing them year after year out.
Sure.
Is willing to kind of jump in, to be curious, and to share that with other people, whether it's your own, you know, shipmates or whether it's the general public here on Nautilus Live. So actually in the email that Maddie sent me a year ago, she finished off the normal, like, hey, can we use this video for an article with P.S. I absolutely love this stuff. I've been following Nautilus Live for years and I'm, you know, curious to learn more if anything comes up. And I was like,
Totally.
this sounds like the kind of person we're looking for.
And I'm so glad I said that. Yeah, I'm so glad, and it is such a cool experience. And like I said, I'm a journalist. Valeria's a marine biologist. Brian works in education. So really, I mean, everybody comes from these different backgrounds, and it's just this sort of excitement. We talked a lot about the team earlier in this watch too, and just, you know, nobody wakes up in the morning kind of dragging their feet to get up to the control van. Everyone's excited to see what's going on and wants to be a part of it.
And speaking of the team, if you click over onto the team page, you can see all the, you can match some faces with voices that you're hearing.
That's right. For better or worse.
Yep. And we've got a new series of career pages. So if you're curious about the specific roles of the 8 seats that we have here in the control van on Nautilus, you can learn more about the different career pathways and skills and experiences that those roles encompass.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, so you just click on
the team.
Look at that. Okay. That's awesome. Oh, and you can also see what previous expeditions people were a part of as
Oh,
well?
yes, for the personal ones. And you would
Okay.
also see an expanded profile if the person submitted all those questions. But if you
Busted. I
Yep.
swear I did.
so yeah, the main team page there at the top.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Look at that. Hey, that's our whole team.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see familiar faces there and learn more about all the different roles on board, including the crew, which we have 17 professional maritime crew members on board who are encompass both the officers and captain on the bridge who are navigating the vessel and making us literally move forward. Our 2 cooks and stewardess who make sure that we're all very well fed, too well fed
Yes.
sometimes, and comfortable. And then our engine room team, so engineers, as well as deck crew, keep the ship looking ship shape, and currently 2 electricians on board. So can get to know a little more about who's who behind the scenes of Nautilus.
Yeah, that's right, because it's not, I mean, there's a lot of science and operations, but there's also a whole crew that keeps the day-to-day running, and
Couldn't do it without them.
absolutely. Turning to our fantastic ROV pilot, we have a question about autonomous underwater vehicles. So we've talked a bit about those already. Are those used to find wrecks as well? And if so, how efficient are they? What are some of the pros and cons between using an AUV and say an ROV like what we're doing right now?
Yeah, they can definitely be used. The main difference is that you have no communication really with them, so you can't get the live real-time data like we can do right now with Argus. So I'd say that's one of the main differences. And also with AUVs, you can send out a couple of them at a time, so you can sort of cover more area. But again, depends on battery life and things of that nature about how long they can go out for. So definitely some pros and cons to each, so it depends on your specific application.
Right, so Argus and Hercules are tethered to the ship, right? So we're operating them from the control van. We can see what they're doing in real time.
Yes.
AUVs are not connected to the ship.
Yeah, for the most part, they're pre-programmed as well, so you can't really make changes real time. So if you decide, hey, I don't actually want to do these lines, I want to go over here. A lot of times you have to have it surface, communicate with it, and then change some of the mission parameters and have it go back down. So it's not really a live, real-time change you can make.
And you're not seeing what they're seeing in real time, right?
So it could do a whole survey, you get the data back, and it's not great. But you can't really fix that real time.
Oh. So for what we're doing and what we normally do, I suppose in these bigger geological surveys, it's beneficial to have an ROV then.
Definitely.
Cool.
So at the beginning of your watch, there was quite a lot of rocky formations that you were seeing and even zooming in on. Was there any more information about those features, or just same old kind of volcanic features, fudge lava?
I don't know. I think, Suna, did you ask to zoom in on those?
Which ones were you talking about? I didn't get that.
There was some kind of long horizontal, almost arc-like volcanic features earlier. It may have been actually during the last watch.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, I don't either. But I'm not surprised.
Yep. Okay. Probably same old, same old.
I do know, Sam, that someone requested another tour of the control van.
Uh-oh.
You're really earning your video engineer
Whew.
You ready or
pseudo
what?
title.
Gotta put my tea down. Is everyone ready for this? I heard a yeah in the back.
Let's do it, Sam.
Woo. All right.
You got
okay.
this.
Hold on. Let me sit up. Here we go. Here we go. We're doing a van tour?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
A people tour.
A people tour. Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy. Okay. Where do we want to start? Well, we're on the back row. Are you ready, back row? We're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live in the back row. You want to start? Should we do intros too?
Oh wow.
Whoa.
This is the deluxe tour, obviously.
Yeah.
Or outros,
How about this?
maybe.
Yeah, outros. So how about your name and your role, and also
Uh-oh.
the. Well, we have so many questions we could throw in here. Okay. We could do.
You might win that one.
Might?
Wait, what's the question you wanted to do?
No.
Oh, okay. We could do. Do we want a science question or do we want a fun question? Or I'm sorry, everything in science is fun. Do we want a science question or a non-science question?
Let's do a fun science question.
Ooh.
Okay, so
What about a pseudoscience?
pseudoscience.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you do both, Sam?
Okay, so
Maybe with both.
let's do your name and your favorite snack so far this week
Oh.
that has come out or that you've eaten, and then the most exciting thing you've seen while out at sea, and that could be in the water, it could be somewhere on the ship, it could be in this control van, it could be an image you've seen, it could be your shipmate doing something interesting.
We also have
So,
a request if you could also just say your favorite ice cream flavor, so we could all judge you
Oh my
based
gosh.
on your.
Oh, no.
3 questions. Now we're getting.
I need to write some of this down.
I can't handle
Could
that.
you also just like hand in a 5-paragraph essay while you're at it?
Okay. Select a question or two, and you can answer that.
Or
We'll start in
do
the back
all.
row.
Do them all.
Do them all. Okay, Dee Dee, you're up.
Hi, Dee Dee Marks, leading off the group here. I'm a maritime archaeologist. Let's see, so we're going to go with questions. My favorite snack has been the cookies. I have to say I was hoping there'd be a double round of cookies, but no luck. So we'll go with ice cream in that same vein. I like vanilla. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people.
I got you.
And with a cookie, extra bonus.
Oh.
There's definitely a cookie theme happening.
Yeah, I know. Probably, I think seeing the oceanic white-tip sharks, not only because I have never seen them before, but the stories you hear of mariners after their vessels going down, you know, having them circle in the water and sort of the biology and the maritime heritage combo right there leads to some interesting stories from history. So that's been my coolest moment, as well as my vanilla ice cream chocolate chip cookie fascination.
Excellent. Welcome, Dee Dee.
Thank you.
All right, so Russ Matthews, Airsea Heritage Foundation. I am officially one of the co-science leads, along with Mike Brennan. My favorite snack on the voyage so far was the first one, the warm chocolate chip cookies. I have to agree with you there. My favorite ice cream would be mint chocolate chip, though soft serve chocolate and vanilla twist cone is also very good.
Okay.
I think maybe the most exciting thing was when we heard from that the viewer who had been tuning into to the live stream and wrote in to tell us about this elderly woman that he helps care for, who remembered Samoan Clipper visiting Auckland. And she even had the photographs that she very kindly shared with us, and that we're hopefully going to share with all of you. But they were ones that I had never seen before. I mean, they were in her personal collection and captured just this tiny slice of this story. We've been chasing this story this whole week, and that story came and found us. And really remembered the one photograph that really stands out is it's the front of the airplane, and the pilot's hatch is open. There's a man in a uniform standing in that doorway that looks for all the world like Ed Music, and you can actually read the name of the plane, Samoan Clipper, right next to him. And that's the only time I've ever seen a photograph of him with his last command. And she's said she was pretty sure that it was the captain because, you know, the crew was staying with them on shore, but she said the captain wouldn't leave his plane. And that sounds like everything that we know about Ed Music and his character and what he would do. And so that was just a real treat to have that you know, come and find us while we're doing this. So so yeah, I think that that covers it. So
I guess you could say the Samoan Clipper we did find it in a way then, right?
Yeah, in a way, yes.
Yeah.
We found it in our hearts.
We had it all along.
On that note, Suna.
Hi, I'm Suna. I'm on the data logging seat here. I don't really snack.
Oh, it's okay.
So I'm sorry. But I ate the chocolate cake.
For the Skittles?
Skittles cake.
Yep.
It was really good. I missed that. Because I don't snack and I don't eat sugar much. It was delicious. Yeah, I got all the sugar in 5 minutes.
Was that also your favorite part of the cruise?
That was also my favorite part. Yeah.
I thought you liked the sharks and all the sea life.
Not as much as the chocolate.
Not
cake.
as much as the chocolate Skittles cake. Okay.
Yeah, the sharks were really great today, especially seeing them around all day. Every time I look in the water, is exciting. It was nice. What else were we answering? What else?
Ice
Coolest-
cream flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Ice cream. I mean, I used to like vanilla. Sorry.
I don't think that's anything to apologize for. Like, vanilla is a pretty legitimate ice cream flavor.
I think it's very tasty.
I do too, yeah. I'm a fan, especially with rainbow sprinkles.
Oh my God, seriously? Yes, that's my favorite.
And a waffle cone.
No, Didi's excited.
Yes.
Soft serve with rainbow sprinkles.
Yes.
Okay, moving to. Sorry, moving to. There we go. Here we go. Whee! All right. Oh, we have Devin, our documentarian, in the room as well. She is the alien with the red headlamp on. Camera's right there. There she is. Let's maybe we'll have Maddie go next, who's in the back here.
Yeah.
You can pop your head out.
Darn, you guys can't see me.
Come on up.
Okay, let me see if I can bring
Come
this
on down.
thing with me.
At least just say hi. There you go.
Hello. The cable doesn't really reach that far, so I'm going to awkwardly hunch here. My name is Maddie. I am the Science Communication Fellow, so I am the one that's reading all of your questions and comments and relaying them to the room. I'm a journalist in my normal time with a publication called IFL Science, and I also love vanilla ice cream, and I'm not sorry about it. I also really like peanut butter banana milkshakes, which I call smoothies as well because it's like
Definitely
protein.
a smoothie.
Yeah.
Yep.
My favorite snack, I had a corn dog for breakfast, so I guess you could kind of call that like a snack meal.
That's a full meal.
That's
Yeah. Okay.
Pro level snack. Yeah.
So that really happened. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
And how is it prepared,
Okay.
Maddie?
I also couldn't decide if I wanted the corn dog or the cinnamon bun, so
You did both?
so I did both.
Yeah.
It was one of those mornings, and I can't remember who showed this to me or if I found this out. Somebody definitely showed me. The toaster has a special. Some want to say
It's
toast
not a
seatbelt.
seatbelt.
I
Miles.
want to say innovative toasting technology where it pops up and there's like these 2 little metal bars above the actual toaster, so you can put what you need to toast on top of the toaster. So like it's perfect for cinnamon buns, right, that are nice and
You could make
iced.
s'mores on that.
You could make s'mores on
It is
it.
to keep your bread from flying out onto the counter.
Keep your s'mores
Miles,
from
you
making a
have
mess of
some-
the toaster.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with you at all.
Multi-purpose. We can have all the things.
Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, Miles does have a point. Our previous toaster did have a tendency to shoot toast out from the toaster, and you'd find it like in the sink or like on the coffee pot, and that was not acceptable.
And that's why we got rid of that toaster.
Well, it met a
reason.
sad end. Yeah.
Because people were angry about
Yeah.
it needing a seatbelt.
Okay, it could be a seatbelt and a cinnamon bun corn dog warmer.
Great.
I'll take both of those.
Seatbelt, combo seatbelt corn dog warmer.
Yeah, yeah.
Where else in the world could you hear that saying?
Only right here, obviously. I think, is that everything?
What's your favorite moment of the cruise other than the seatbelt corn dog?
I thought it was the
warmer?
most exciting thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Is the question
on this
morphed?
cruise.
Oh,
it was not cruise related.
It wasn't before. The question is morphed.
We've morphed it.
And that's okay.
No, I think
It
I
has
said
a life
it
of
during
its
this
own.
expedition.
No, that was favorite snack during this
Yeah.
expedition.
And then
and best thing you've seen while aboard.
But everyone in the back row answered
Everyone in
as
the
it
back
was.
row. Okay. Yep, yep.
That's what I'm saying. It's morphed.
So
I got to rethink my answer though.
So my favorite thing may be contentious as to whether it was indeed part of the cruise because we had not yet set sail.
Ah.
So I
was
don't
it
know.
a sea day? Was it 8 to 12 hours worked?
No, it was before that. Yeah,
It's not a cruise.
But I'm still gonna go with it. My favorite part, honestly, was it took over 30 hours all in all on an overnight trip to get here. And I loved the bus that we took from the Pongo Pongo airport to port. That was super entertaining. The flight coming from, okay, so basically the entire travel day of leaving Samoa and coming to the Nautilus at port. We took this amazing plane ride in a very teeny tiny 19-seater from Apia to Pongo Pongo, and we were able to fly over what would, probably have been where the Samoan Clipper flew on that last day. We landed safely. We took a open air wooden bus to port, which was amazing. There was like fur in it, which was really, really cool, faux fur. And then we got to port and saw the Nautilus at port, and it was a very surreal experience. I'm sure as many of you can attest to that first time that you got on board or got to port and then realized, all of this time and planning and effort had finally come to its culmination. So it wasn't technically at sea yet, but I'm going to go with it.
That works.
All right, cool.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Samantha here, studying as a video engineer at the moment, still training. And for a snack, I'm going to have to say the cheesecake with the chocolate chip crust.
Oh, that was a good one.
Which is Max's favorite, or our favorite, usually dessert from Max, our cook who loves pastries. I don't know if he actually loves the pastries, but
he loves making them.
He loves making them, and they sure are good.
Boy, does he.
Ice cream would be chocolate chip cookie dough with brownies pieces.
That's a good one.
Oh,
yep.
wow, yeah.
Particularly the froyo version of that one. Won't name any brand names, but you can figure it out yourself. And then coolest thing I've seen this expedition actually. The week before this expedition, I kind of had a moment of like, oh my gosh, this is really, really different. And it was partly from having some media calls with Russ and the team, and just hearing how much of their lives, the last 5 years had gone into researching this, and hearing the personal stories really hit home in a way that our sort of basic exploration that is focused on the biology and geology really hadn't. And so I just kept telling my family, like, oh, this is like a really big deal. This is a really big expedition. And they're like, you do this all the time. And I'm like, no, this is different. This is a different one. And the coolest thing I saw when I got on the ship was those binders that you brought, Russ. Those are full of amazing archival research that I know Lonnie had a big part in putting together. But just the story of the Samoan Clipper spread across so many, across the world, across so many, months and years. And for me, that just added a totally different element to being out here on Nautilus, even in my 4th season. So I really appreciate
really
the
cool.
opportunity to be a part of this.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, do you want your blueprints on the wall behind you? We should have zoomed in on that.